everybody. We're back. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. We just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support on episode 1. It was unbelievable. And we're excited for this journey with all of you. And we have to kick off episode 2 with some big news. Some big news. I wasn't lying to you all last episode when I told you that she was a legend. Florence Schelling was inducted into the IIHF Hall of Fame this past week. Cue some claps. Insane accomplishment, Florence. Congratulations. How does that feel?
Thanks very much, Buckles. Honestly, it still feels a bit surreal. Being inducted into the IIHF Hall of Fame is something I never dared to even dream about, to be honest. So I'm just incredibly grateful for the teammates, for the coaches, and all the people who supported me throughout every step of my career, basically. So it feels less like my accomplishment, to be honest, and more like a moment that I want to share with the many amazing people that carried me, that challenged me and believed in me throughout my career. And so I'm just incredibly thankful.
Guys, my co-host is a legend. No big deal. Congratulations once again, Florence. That
Thanks.
is incredible. And yeah, I'm so pumped to celebrate you and what an amazing career you had.
Thank you very much.
So what else is new besides being a legend and going into Hall of Fames? You were in Boston for an alumni weekend, right? And I believe you brought your little one, Sophia, on her first flight.
Yes, I was indeed in Boston for an extended weekend trip and just came back today. So I'm a bit jet lagged. But honestly, not in a million years would I have thought about flying over the pond for such a weekend. This briefly after giving birth.
How was that? She's
3.5 months old now. It was intense, but it was so worth it. Flying with a baby surely brings some challenges that I never had to deal with before.
I can imagine.
But she was an absolute champ and managed her first flight really well. So I'm very grateful for that too.
Let's go, Sophia.
And on the other hand, she was sleeping. She was great. And I was so tense the whole flight. I was ready for anything that could have happened. So I did not sleep at all. I did not close my eye for 1 second during that trip. So I feel like not sleeping at all during that flight really caught up with me every day while I was in Boston, because I was just constantly tired and I felt like I was getting more and more tired.
Yeah, wait, how long is that flight?
It's an 8-hour flight coming over. So
decent flight for your first flight as a 3-month-old.
She was sleeping. It was perfect. It was really perfect. But I was literally I had her in the bassinet, and every time I was just leaning back in my chair, I felt like I can't hear her when if she would start crying, I can't hear her. And so I was no headphones, no nothing. So you're sitting
ear straight to her chest, being what's going on? Yeah.
Literally every 5 minutes, I popped my head into her bassinet, looking if everything was fine.
But you got to take her to your alma mater. Tell me more about the weekend.
Yes. What a weekend. Honestly, so that's the thing. It was hard traveling, but then it was so worth it. Going back to Northeastern, going back to Boston was very, very special because Matthews Arena is the most iconic and historic hockey arena there is in this entire world. Yep. And I was fortunate enough to play in it for my 4 years at Northeastern, and they are taking it down. They are taking it down, and that is extremely sad.
That breaks my heart. At least you got to go back there for its one last. They did their senior night, correct? The Northeastern Huskies and all that.
Exactly, and I was able to do the puck drop of that last game that the women's team plays at Matthews Arena, and so it's just it was so emotional, like the energy, the memories, the people. Like Matthews has been the heartbeat of so many careers, including like my own. And so like I was just so thankful that I was able to go there, be there, and see a lot of my former teammates again, and you know, going back on the ice one last time in this iconic arena it was really, really special. So
it honestly breaks my heart. Like I didn't even play at Northeastern. I got to play there a handful of times during beam pots and whatnot. And I think it was my favorite rink in all of the NCAA. Obviously, the Bright Landry has a special place in my heart, being
Right.
Harvard's home rink. But something about Matthews,
Yeah.
it is just such a historic rink. Every time you'd step into that building, I don't know, it gives me goosebumps. So
Yeah.
it's a
Same
tough
here.
day. Tough
And
day.
honestly, like it was the home of the Boston Bruins. It was the home of the Celtics back in the days and everything. Like there's so much history in that barn. And I'm always thinking like if these walls could talk, can you imagine what they would say?
the stories. If only. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys gave it some more stories to talk about this weekend. You guys probably
Absolutely.
had yourself a good time.
Absolutely. So I was just happy to be able to go to Boston and be there for that one last game and enjoy that with my former teammates and friends.
Amazing.
And so yeah, that's what I did last week. Buckles, what about you? What's new with you?
I feel like we need to put a compilation of like all of Florence's moments in Matthews right now, with just like some like Sparks by Coldplay playing in the background or something like that. So yeah, this past little while for me, I had a really, really nice weekend here in Toronto. Went to the Scepters games, have been to a couple of the Scepters games now. And I just want to say it's been awesome meeting so many of you guys at those games. I really appreciate when you guys come up and say hi and I get to put some names to faces. And yeah, it brings me a lot of joy and keep doing that. If you see me, come say hi. The Coca-Cola Coliseum has been rocking. It's been rocking and it's been awesome to see all the PWHL fans back in action.
That's awesome. That sounds so great.
Mhm.
But hey, didn't you mention that you were going to watch the Ohio-Wisconsin game with Tessa?
Did I ever? Did I ever? And man, she wasn't too happy with the outcomes. We'll talk a little bit more about these recaps, but I think, yeah, there was a couple of bottles of wine in the mix for her to help with her sorrows. But yeah, actually, should we talk more about the recaps of this past week and the prospects?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
think let's dig into it right away.
Let's start off with the biggest matchup in the NCAA this past weekend. We had number 1, number 2, Wisconsin and Ohio facing off in Ohio. Yes, I did watch both these games in the fullest extent, and Wisconsin took down Ohio twice. Yeah, so tough weekend for Tessa. Man, was this hockey fun to watch. These kids really have some animosity towards each other. These schools, just the rivalry, watching it firsthand, everyone's getting a bump. I could make a compilation of just the hits and scrums between these two games. It was crazy, and I'm just excited to continue to watch these guys. They're bound to match up again. So something to highlight from one of the games was a gross goal by Kirsten Sims. We brought her up, a junior at Wisconsin. In the Saturday matchup, she had quite the goal. She had like a push into the middle lane shot, and on top of that, an insane celly. She had like a little like Austin Matthews like, it's a goal, put her arm across like a referee would. And I mean, if that doesn't show you how fired up these kids get for these games, I don't know what does. And yeah, ultimately, Wisconsin came on top on both these games. Friday night game was pretty close. Saturday, I don't know if it was really representative of how well that game went, but a lot of these prospects were shining. Caroline Harvey, back-to-back 4 on 4 goals on both games. We got to see Layla Edwards continue to be a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, these teams are going to match up again, and I can't wait for when they do.
Okay, so ECAC girl, what happened in that conference?
I did tell you guys to watch out for 2 specific games. Cornell versus Quinnipiac and Cornell versus Princeton. let's start. Cornell had a tough weekend. They were ranked number 8th is how I should phrase it, and have fallen down to 10 due to this weekend with back-to-back losses. Let's start with their game against Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac won 3-0 over Cornell. There was an unreal goal by a defender, Michaela Watson, number 28, Canadian sophomore defender, where she rushed with the puck, drops her shoulder, makes a beautiful deke around the goaltender in the crease, and has a Bobby Orr finish where she gets shot up in the air and falls. Michaela Watson, I loved her game and helped her team propel over Cornell, which was a big ECAC matchup, and helped Quinnipiac boost their rankings to number 8, where Cornell was at the previous week. Next, we have Princeton upsetting Cornell 3-2. Another big time matchup I said to watch. This Princeton team has some prospects that we will be talking a lot about. This win was specifically driven by the 2 goals that was scored by Izzy Wonder. Wonder is a senior player that has a high hockey IQ and a finesse to score goals. We'll be talking more about her style of play later in the episode, but yeah, this was a big time upset and actually propelled Princeton to get into the top 10 and now are ranked 9th in the nation. So congratulations to now how many ECAC teams? We got a couple of ECACs in the top 10. So ECAC girl is very happy.
You look very happy. I can see that off your face. You're like, yes.
I'm like smiling ear to ear. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Anyways, okay, wait, let's go to Hockey East though. We got BC women's hockey. Florence, you're in the building for this. I'm sure you were having a lot of chatter with your old teammates. So I don't know if you saw this firsthand, but holy smokes, did you see that highlight reel goal by Sam Tabor? She swatted a puck out of the midair and scored against Northeastern.
This is really embarrassing. Yes, I was at the game. I was there, but I did not see that. I was having like fantastic conversations and a good time with my former teammates, and
as you should.
I kind of missed that huge goal. I did see the replay after the goal was scored though, and yeah, that was a sick goal. But honestly, at this point, I want to give a shout out to Northeastern because they did end up winning that game against BC. Their last game in Matthews Arena, they were able to bring it home. And they are now ranked number 7 in the nation. So they're doing really, really well. And also from my side, congratulations, Huskies.
Let's go. With all the alumni in the stands, that must have been such a special weekend for you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I mean, that's what's going on in the NCAA in North America with the prospects and all the top teams. What's going on with our European prospects, Florence? Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened this past weekend?
Absolutely. So last week I had mentioned 2 games to watch in the SDHL. The first one was Luleå versus Linköping, and Luleå took the W home with a 5-2 win.
Ayo.
Petra Nieminen, one of the PWHL prospects that I talked about, had 2 power play goals in that game, both of them in the second period. She is just full force and still leading the league in points with a lot less games than anybody else. So she is definitely one to keep an eye on. Nadia Mativi, another prospect that I talked about, unfortunately, she is out with an injury, but she is expected to make a speedy recovery. So Nadia, if you are listening, best wishes for a speedy recovery from us.
Absolutely.
So the other game that I had mentioned last week was Modo versus Brynäs. And Brynäs won that tight game in overtime, 4-3. And notable in this game was Janina Nylund. She is a Finnish center who scored 2 goals and added an assist on the game equalizer. So she had a really strong game right there, making sure that Brynäs was able to take that W home. And I want to mention another player that stood out this past week with a hat trick. Sophie Lunden from Frölunda had a hat trick in a 3-2 win over Djurgården. So she scored all of the goals for that win for Frölunda.
Putting the team on her back. You were telling us about Sophie Lunden last week, correct?
Exactly, I did. And so it's just like it's been a great week in the SHL. Interesting games to see and prospects to watch. And also I want to mention that after this week, Luleå took over the first place in the SDHL rankings. So Frölunda, who had a fantastic start into the season, they are now ranked in second place, followed by Brynäs in third place. So this is what's been going on with some of our European prospects.
Okay, guys, we have a new segment this week. Last week, we ranked the prospects so far this whole entire season that have stood out. But this is going to be a mainstay, a weekly thing that we do. And the segment's called This Week's Hot Shots. This segment is going to be about prospects that had an outstanding week for their respective teams and what made them specifically stand out. And so we're going to start this off with a shout out to Ava McNaughton. Ava McNaughton, the goaltender for Wisconsin. Obviously, I'm no goaltender expert here. So, Florence, can you tell us a little bit more about what makes Ava McNaughton such an exceptional goaltender?
In my opinion, Ava is an exceptional goaltender because of her strong positioning. She knows exactly where she has to be for whatever shot is coming her way. And if she needs to move, all of her movements are smooth. She knows exactly where to go. Her eyes are leading the way. She knows exactly where her body has to go. She's a calm player. Her technical skills are excellent. She's standing on top of her crease. She doesn't go back. She's not scared of whatever's coming her way. She has fantastic rebound control and so on and so on. She's Ava's an exceptional goaltender for sure.
Yeah. And she's for sure a hot shot this week. Really helped Wisconsin persevere against Ohio here. Next hot shot, I got to call out Izzy Wonder. Izzy Wonder is a Princeton senior. She was a Patty Kaz top 10 finalist this past year. And we'll be talking lots about her going into this next draft. She's a great two-way player. She brings physicality and finesse on whatever team she's on. And she's got a great hockey IQ. And this was showcased this past week with her two big goals to help push Princeton over Cornell, which was a big time game for this team. And it was led by one of their big leaders, Izzy Wonder. Get used to that name. I'm going to continue to give Princeton love here. We got a sophomore, Mackenzie Alexander. This is a stud player and somebody that we're going to be for sure tracking throughout her college career. She had a 4-point night to help Princeton beat Colgate 6-1 and had herself a hat trick. She's known for her amazing playmaking abilities. I believe in the 24-25 season, she had 46 points in 32 games in her freshman year, 32 of those points being assists. She sees the ice so well. She finds her teammates. She creates opportunities. And this was a hot shot for sure this week and was one of the main players that helped boost Princeton into the top 10 ranking. So shout out Mackenzie Alexander.
A similar player that we can talk about is Sophie Lunden, the 25-year-old Swedish forward. She's coming off last week with a hat trick as well, leading the way for Frölunda, making sure they can win their game with 3 goals. Sophie is known for her excellent game overview and finding lanes for the perfect passes. She has so far 20 assists this season and 9 goals.
Sheesh.
And all of that just in 25 games. So Sophie Lunden, shout out to you as well.
And those are our hot shots for this week. Please send us any DMs if you think that we missed any hot shots, any hot shot highlight reels. Hey, we're open to all of it. And yeah, we'll be checking our DMs for those. So, yep, that's this week's hot shots. Now, Florence, It is time for our prospect interview for this week.
So excited about this one.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely no fun talking to this prospect. Never a good time. Let's just say there was a couple of laughs, and man, this is going to be such an exceptional player in the PWHL. She is already such an amazing player. Abbey Murphy, everybody, has joined us on this podcast, and we will be talking to her now. Everybody, we are so lucky to be joined by another rising star. Today, we have an All-American, a member of the USA Senior National Team, Olympic silver medalist, 4 World Championship appearances, Patty Kaz Award finalist for the last 2 years, one of the top point getters in Minnesota Gophers history, and she is only 23 and just getting started. She's having herself an okay senior season, only 15 points in her first 4 games. Everybody, please welcome on Abbey Murphy.
Thanks for having me, Buckles.
Yeah, this is going to be a long one, eh, buddy? So how's life in Dinkytown?
It's good. You know, obviously it's crazy getting already this first half of the season. But it's been awesome. Great team start to the year. So love the team. But it's been a blast so far. Enjoying my 6th year in Dinkytown is pretty surreal. So can't get rid of me yet.
I was going to say, there's a reason why you stick around, eh? So let's talk about life before Dinkytown. You grew up in Illinois. When did hockey enter the picture for you?
Yeah, I had actually no family who played hockey, so it's a little different. I had a neighbor he was like 6 years older than me, I want to say, and he played hockey for his high school team growing up. So then I think that's really when I kind of found the dream to want to play hockey, and when I fell in love with it, probably around, I think I was 7, I want to say. So started with rollerblades, started in, skates, pushing puck buckets around, learning how to do the basics. But yeah, I mean, not too old, not too young. So it was fun.
I was going to say, because you have siblings, right? You have athletic siblings, but they didn't touch hockey?
Correct. 2 older brothers, football, wrestling. Yeah. None.
Wow. And so when did you realize that you're like, wait, I really like this hockey thing? Like you were starting to get good at it. What age was that around?
Playing with the boys, I feel like really made it fun. Obviously you get to be a little like aggressive and stuff like that. Growing up with 2 older brothers, it was fun, obviously getting tossed around a lot. So, but I think around like, I'd say 10 years old is kind of when I really fell in love with the sport and just loved showing up to the rink every single day, that long drive with Dad. So every part of it's been awesome.
Let's go. Okay. And then college recruiting came into the picture. How was that process for you, and what schools were in the mix?
It was weird. My dad wasn't really sure how to handle it. I was really young. I think I was 12 when this like became in the picture of colleges. So it was confusing. We had someone back at Mission who was handling that college situation stuff. So we were really fortunate and lucky. They made it really easy for us. But yeah, I mean, Minnesota reached out. I think the first school that actually reached out was Princeton, and my dad like called with the coach there, and he was like, yeah, like we really appreciate this, but like my daughter won't be attending Princeton. Like she's not.
Right away. Dad shut it down.
Yeah, right away. Shut it down. So probably pretty smart. Minnesota was a lot. Definitely the best decision. But yeah, I mean, I was a one and done. Visited Minnesota, didn't talk to anyone else. So.
Really?
Yeah.
And so
nice, easy process.
Yeah, look at you. And why Minnesota? Obviously something drew you there.
I had a lot at Mission. So I grew up playing at Mission for 9 years, and I had a lot of girls I looked up to. I don't know if you know Sophie Skarzinski, Kara Piazza, Megan Bozek. So they played at Mission, and I kind of locked onto them in a way, and looked up to them so much that they were my role models there. So I always showed up in like Minnesota PJs or hats. So I fell in love with it, not even knowing much about it. But ever since then, that was my dream school, and I got a visit there and loved every bit of it.
Yeah. And I hear the social scene's pretty good at that school as well. Hockey, obviously, is storied school with your program out there, and You've been dominant at the NCAA level. You found yourself at the top of many stat lines in the NCAA, multiple WCHA recognitions, whether it be for the month or all tournament teams, and it obviously top 10 discussions for Patty Kaz. So what made your transition into the NCAA so successful, and what tools have you learned that you will be using in the next step into the PWHL?
Sure. I think, obviously playing U18s, in high school made a difference for sure. But my transition from high school to college was so easy because the people I was playing with, I'm playing with Taylor Heisey and Grace Umwinkle and all these high level athletes, they were very accepting of us coming onto this team as younger players. So when you play with players like that, it's so much easier to be successful. And on and off the ice, they were just wonderful leaders. So I'm really lucky.
Some decent players to be around. You're a pretty decent player yourself. You do it all, actually. You're in the 2023-2024 season, 62 points in 39 games and 118 penalty minutes. So you are a skilled player and enforcer, which I love. And I just see you thriving in the PWHL with a whole new level of physicality and speed. It didn't take long for you to make the jump to the senior national team. You were selected to the IIHF World roster in 2021, Olympic roster in 22. So let's talk a little bit more about your game. You are a talented forward that brings such an offensive threat to the game. You find soft areas of the ice so well. You have a rocket of a shot and elite playmaking abilities. But on top of that, you're one of the grittiest players that likes to be physical, be in the scrums, mostly starting them, and have a knack for getting under opponents' skin. Player comparisons, Brad Marchand, Matthew Tkachuk, I think they watch you and they get inspired, to be honest. So when did you find your style of game? Like, when did you really own this whole like gritty, but I'm going to score all the goals as well?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, growing up with two older brothers, you roughhouse a lot. You got to learn how to stick up for yourself and find times to fight back, to be honest. So it started at a really young age. I feel like at Chicago Mission, I was always this kind of player, but as you get older, you kind of learn to grow in certain ways. But I think when I got to college, obviously all the penalty minutes were adding up, but still scoring goals and doing that kind of stuff is so much fun. So just finding that fine line of being so productive, but also having fun with it. Like that's my entire thing. Like I play with a smile on my face in an entire hockey game,
Dude, it's so fun to watch you. You're an absolute dog out there. Like you're the dream teammate and like absolute nightmare to go against, which every player wants on their team. And so with that, do you like being the villain? Sometimes you kind of been made out to be that in games. Do you like that?
I don't mind it. Obviously I have my team behind me and I respect every single one of them and they got my back and I have theirs. So, I mean, that's the fun part about it. I don't need many friends outside of my teammates. So I'll take being the villain any day. I'm playing for my country and when it comes down to that, I'll do whatever it takes.
I love it.
People don't really know me though, Buckles, like trust me, like I'm not that much of a, can't say, but I love it. Hockey kind of turns a different switch on.
And at the end of the day, you're just like such an entertaining player. And like I said, I wish I was one of your teammates because it'd be much easier to be on your team than playing against you. So going off of that, it takes some real confidence to do what you do. You go out there and aggravate and then convert on offensive chances. You are all over the ice in every different respect, on the score sheet, in the corners. And it takes some confidence to do this. And you've been doing it at a young age against legends like Marie-Philippe Poulin. Where does this confidence come from to go toe-to-toe with players that you've looked up to being a younger player?
I think it comes from my teammates. I mean, like I said, like without their support and their, like they have respect for me, which that helps me. It makes me just kind of push buttons that not everyone does, but and no one else kind of plays or does things that I do sometimes. So I'm just trying to change it a little bit, but have fun. Obviously, it's kind of fun to get into other people's heads. It's cool because you wouldn't think you would, but My team, they always tell they hate that stuff. They hate that stuff. And I'm like,
dude,
all right.
you're up in their heads rent free. Absolutely. And so you don't seem to be afraid of anybody. Who is somebody you don't want to get in a scrum with, though? I'm interested.
Like on my team, or like,
I don't know. I just feel like I like, just in general, who's somebody that you're like, oh, going into a battle with them, like this is like who's somebody that I'm sure there's nobody that makes you afraid, but who's somebody that you're like, oh, this could be a tough scrum here.
a really hard player to play against is Rory Gilday. Or like,
Yeah.
like Megan Keller, I don't want to get on her bad side ever. She towers over me. She'd beat my ass. For sure. But there's a lot of players. I mean,
Yeah.
some on the Canadian team, Renata Fast gets into it, obviously big, strong I So,
Yeah.
but I hold my ground as long as I can, Buckles.
Dude, and you have. I honestly don't think I would put my money on you in any fight, to be honest. So, but I was interested. I was like, who would Murphy be nervous to go against? But yeah, I guess nobody. Long story short. But let's talk about what's been going on a little bit more in your recent game. You got 3 goals in the last rivalry series game, hat trick. Your one-timer is a thing of beauty. One of my favorite shots to watch. You and Taylor Heisey showing off that Gopher connection. What have you been working on currently to develop your on-ice talent during the season?
I mean, being here at the Gophers and kind of going back and forth is super cool, honestly, because you go play at the highest level, you play with the best players in the world. It's so cool to see. But every time I come back here to Minnesota, I'm just trying to get better when it does come to that stage. But yeah, we do skills here 3 times a week before practice, after practice. So just little things, our coaches are really good at that. Just whether that's one-timers and little stuff like that. But just trying to do anything I can, playing with Heisey is just so cool though. I just try and find those soft spots that you're talking about. And she's just an incredible player that she finds seams that it's just, her vision's crazy. So
yeah, watching you guys makes my eyes feel good for sure. It's crazy the connection that you guys got out there. But yeah, okay. So one-timers, I just remember all the time in skills in college. Yeah, one-timers, like
always.
what are you doing though? Like what other little things for like young listeners are you working on? Like what are the little things so when they get out there they can play like Abbey Murphy?
Yeah, just like little skill drills. This week we did a lot of feet work, open hips, mohawks, stuff like that, putting pucks under the little buoys on the ice. But it's fun. You try and do different things, cutbacks, quick feet and stuff like that. But something that I love to work on is tipping, get in front of the net, left, right. That's really fun. But our coach Boom, he finds super unique things for us to practice on the ice. So it's awesome.
I don't know if I've ever heard one of my forwards say they like to tip. So that's unique right there.
Love it.
That's electric. Okay, so let's talk a little bit current day hockey. This episode will be dropping the day of the next rivalry series game. Not my first time speaking English, but it sounds like it. You've been making a splash in the rivalry series so far. What should we expect in these next 2 games?
Just some fierce competition. We know what we're going to get going into Edmonton, big crowd, high energy. So our team's extremely excited for this and ready for what's going to come. But just the tenacity, the aggressiveness, the compete that our team's going to give is super exciting. And we've been waiting for it ever since the last game ended. So super pumped up. We'll see when it gets there. But yeah.
Rent free right there. You guys are in Canada for this half the series. What is it like playing in a Canadian barn from your perspective?
It's loud. The energy is just, it's crazy. It's energy that's never towards you, never on your side. So you can either take that a good or bad way. I think our team feeds off it. We kind of enjoy that. But it's cool. You get it on both sides. You play on your home soil. It's fun, and you go over to a different country and play where you're hated so much. But every opportunity is insane. So we're really pumped up.
Let's go. Okay. And some now more random questions. I was obviously hitting you with some more serious questions there. But this is more my wheelhouse. Some random questions here at the end. Tessa actually requested me to ask more about your Maury's Auto Group commercials that you've been featured in. Those are some special commercials. From those listening, Murphy's wearing her gear in cars and in auto dealerships. Can you tell me a little bit more about this?
Yeah, just in case like hockey doesn't go well, I have a backup plan in acting. So
that's literally what
we'll
I have down here. Your acting is impeccable, buddy. It's impeccable. I know. I saw that and I was like, I don't know if hockey's your thing, even though you're so good at it.
Yeah, it was something new, handed to us. The obviously NIL stuff here is really cool, and very fortunate to be given these opportunities to go out there and just have some fun. And they set this whole Maury's car dealership thing up with us and the Gophers. So that one was really fun, really cool experience for sure.
Unreal. And something that I've seen on your TikTok recently, you're doing a whole thing on the Bryson DeChambeau golf challenge, trying to get a golf ball in a cooler. So this is my question. How many windows have you broken in this challenge?
0, but we did hit a car. I don't know if I should be saying that. But it was like it didn't make a mark. Let's just say that. We
you guys checked
inspected it. We inspected it. We little finger rub on the car. There was no scratches, no nothing, but Buckles, 3 days it took us to complete that. And we went back to back winning it in the cooler. Back to back shots.
That's how good it is. Hey, that's super senior life, eh?
Yeah.
Right there. Not much homework for you, eh?
Nope. Online classes, Buckles, living the life.
But hey, buddy, it sounds good. I want to go back to college now. Okay, so wrapping this thing up, Canada versus USA rivalry series game is tonight. Tune in to see Abby disturb the peace and potentially put up another hat trick. Find it on TSN or the NHL network, depending on what country you're in. Good luck in the series. It is such a good time always talking to you, and appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Buckles. It was awesome.
I want to go play a round of golf with her.
Oh man, I would love to see that. We should make that happen, but hopefully there's no cars around for her to hit. So that would be my only concern. Appreciate Abby once again coming on the podcast. She's a great player. I'm so excited to continue to watch her just grow as a prospect and to take this league by storm. How can we watch this week's prospects? What are the big games, Florence? Tell me a little bit more about that.
We are in the midst of a national team break. Almost all NCAA games are paused and all of the European games are paused. We will have a close look on how prospects are doing on their international stage. You can catch the USA and Canadian rivalry games this week, as well as the Euro Hockey Tour with Sweden, Finland, Czechia, and Switzerland playing against each other this week.
I mean, there's no better way to assess them than against some of the legends themselves from all these different countries and a lot of the PWHL players being involved in these games. So, yeah, good luck to the prospects, and I'm excited to watch these games.
All right, Buckles, it's time for Break It Down with Buckles and Florence. We have received so many great questions from you, dear listeners, and Buckles, let's bring them.
I got them. It was hard to choose, to be honest. And yeah, you guys flooded the inbox and we appreciate it. And we're ready to give you our really good responses. So first of all, this one's from Jerry. They said, which rookie are you following closely this year? I will settle for your favorite 3. Okay. Top 3 prospects that just entered the league, rookies. What are you thinking, Florence?
So since I was at the Fleet versus Frost game on Sunday, I'm gonna go with Abby Newhook.
Oh,
Definitely one of the top 3 rookies to watch. She was the first rookie to score 3 goals this season.
she's been making a splash right away. I know there was some discussion and she fell a little bit in the draft last year. And I was a little bit confused because I was like, this is a stud player. I played against her in college, BC hockey player. And she's making it known why she needs to be a part of this league. And is she ever? She's on the power play. She's on the first line. Abby Newhook, yeah, exciting player to continue to watch and a great rookie. I'm gonna also say, I mean, how can you not say Koltenkova, first overall pick this past year? Sirens are creating a new identity for themselves and having a big switch in their mentality, and Kolte's a big part of that. And so I would say that's one of my top 3 prospects. Always exciting to see how the first overall pick fares in their first year, and I like Kolte's style of game.
So we have 2 top rookies. Buckles, do you have a third one?
I think I got a third one here. Rory Gilday. It's been so fun to watch her. Defender for the Ottawa Charge. She had herself her first goal recently. Absolute bomb of a one-timer from the point. Just shows her pure strength. And yeah, I think we're going to see a couple more of those one-timers this year and just see her very sound defensive game and how it's making a great impact for Ottawa.
That's such a great rookie to watch too. Not always like forwards and goal scorers, but like the defenders, they're so important.
Come on now. We're a defender and a goaltender. So you got to expect a lot of love coming from us.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. Next question we have. This comes from Sem Johnson 02. This question says, I've been wondering about Northeastern and specifically their goalies. Since I've seen Northeastern referred to as the goalie college, I'm curious about their current goalies and possible futures in the PWHL. They are following in the footsteps of Frankel and Phillips and Florence and would love a breakdown on them. Florence, I'm tossing this right over to you.
This is such a great question. Northeastern has indeed a rich history of fantastic goaltending. It's absolutely incredible to see all the goalies that came out of this program.
Yeah, wait, I gotta jump in. I'm gonna jump in on this question as well. It has an exceptional history of goaltenders. Why is that?
So, in my opinion, the reason why this is Coach Flint. I'm gonna put it out there. This was definitely the case for me. He used to be a goalie himself, so he understands goalie. He talks goalie, and for those of you who don't know that, goalies are like a special kind of people. And I'm saying this as a goalie. And I think it's such like a big plus or a bonus if you talk goalie. Being able to talk to the coach, to the head coach, not just like the assistant coach, but like to the head coach from goalie to goalie. It's an advantage. And like, you know that the head coach will understand the importance of goalie. Like sometimes there was a drill where like in practice where the goalies weren't like in the center of attention for that drill. But then like he will come up to us and be like, hey, like goalies, I know this one's like a tough one for you guys. Just stick it out. Or like he would have us included in every single drill. Be like, hey, you go stop the puck. You do the first pass out of the zone, stuff like that. You do the first breakout pass, so on and so on. So it's like,
he's got the pulse. He's got the pulse on the goaltenders. Obviously has an incredible eye for what he can see in potential goalie prospects.
So looking at the goalies now that are currently at Northeastern, there's Lisa Jönsson, a Swedish goalie that has taken most of the starts this season. She's only a sophomore, definitely a goalie to watch and see how she further develops. But I'm like very positive. I think Northeastern's in for another great goalie right there.
Hey, coming from Florence Schelling, legendary Hall of Fame goaltender, that's some high praise. So I'm excited to watch this goaltender throughout her college career and beyond. Guys, those are the questions. Break it down with Buckles and Florence. keep sending those questions. There's so many for us to continue to go through that we're just keeping track of, and keep sending them in at jocksandjills@thepwhl.com. That's the email. Okay, you guys, we have some big news. We got an Instagram account at Jocks Next Gen. Please give us a follow. DM us any questions that you may have. We want to hear from you guys, and please follow us to hear all the news about the show, all the updates on all the prospects that we've been talking about. It's all going to be there. Please email all your questions to us at the email jocksandjills@thepwhl.com. Make sure you put Jocks Next Gen in the subject line so we know it's for us. Like I said, you could also DM us at Jocks Next Gen on Instagram. And make sure you guys subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and watch us on the PWHL on YouTube. Enjoy all the international hockey. It's going to be tons of fun. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday.